Everybody, welcome to the weekly webinar for Eat2earn. So today's webinar, we're going to be doing another training where we're going to have Karen, who's got her very first restaurant this week, which has been fantastic. So she's going to give you her, I'm not going to steal her thunder, I'm not going to do that. So Karen's going to tell you everything that happened. We've also got a new person tonight, Edward, who's just told me, which is going to be fantastic for everybody, that he's a direct sales expert. Edward.
I didn't say expert.
The fact you've been doing it for a number of years means you're an expert as far as we're concerned, because we're all novices here. So, you know, the fact is you don't have to be a direct sales expert. You don't have to be a massive networker, because this business sells itself at the end of the day. But obviously having experience will give you a bigger, better standing. And we will all pick your brains as we go through these weeks, because obviously you're going to have you're not going to be scared for once anyway, starting off and going into a shop, because Karen's going to give you how she felt before she left the house to go and to get her first customer, which I'm sure you've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, so you know all about that. But some people on this call I would say, have probably done networking in their past life, but maybe walked away from that over the last few years and gone and done passive stuff. So going back into doing networking, I would imagine, is a bit scary for the world. So is that you, Graham?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, definitely.
So I think because people have been burned in the past, they've got to the point where they've got no friends left. They're in that kind of league. But the good thing is with the restaurants, they've never really done networking. Most of them won't even know what networking is. So we're going to be teaching them. It's more about them, how they normally do their business. They share things with their peers anyway, but now they can get paid to do it as well, which is going to be, the benefit of those guys. So, I don't want to obviously waffle on too much without actually giving any benefits. So what I'm going to do is get Karen on board first, because Karen's got a story that she's maybe take 5 or 10 minutes on that, won't it? So, Karen, do you want to just obviously tell people a bit about yourself and what your background is? Because I want to make sure people know that it's not all about being a salesperson. And then exactly how you felt, what you did, and how you got your first customer. And then obviously there's other things in the pipeline. Don't tell them who they are, but just give them an idea of what's coming as well.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Oh God, I stumbled upon networking, as you know, Sharon, really, about 3 years ago, and discovered that I could sort of do it to a degree. I really struggle with the technical side, as you know, that as well. But I'm definitely not a salesperson. And this week, when I saw this, I liked it, because it's really hard online, because we've all got the same sort of contacts, or the same ones that are engaged are the same sort of contacts that we've all got. And it's like, we're all competing against each other with the same contacts. And I really like this, because the fact that it's sort of taken offline and online together, and you can actually sort of do something rather than sort of, getting frustrated with the computer, which I do sometimes, And so anyway, we just went straight in for it, really, and Steve and myself, and we got some of the little, the small leaflets.
Have they come yet?
Yeah, we got them last.
Can you show them what it looks like?
Yeah.
Going to hand.
Yeah, here they are.
This is Steve, her husband, who's hiding.
So,
oh yeah, cool.
And then we just got them for Steve, because we didn't want to just go and buy a load of stationery for both of us.
So that's instead of a business card, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not the business card, no.
No, it's instead of the business card, but it gives the same information, more or less, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just how many you get. I mean, there's I think 5 of these, 5 or 6 of these boxes, so they're going to last forever. But once we start looking for customers, I think they'll go quite quickly, because you'll start leaving a few here, a few there, and everywhere, But yeah, so anyway, we role played with each other. We'd gone through the webinar a couple of times, and we'd asked you so many questions, as you know. and just did some role play so that we was a little bit comfortable with it. And then we just said, right, we're just going to go out and just do it. And we just chose a high street where there was quite a few takeaways. So we just said, right, okay, one have one side of the road, one have the other. And so we just did that and worked our way up. And we had a really good response. We didn't get to speak to many owners, I have to say, but there was lots of like managers, if you like. And so we sort of spoke to them, and we had a really good reception. People really seemed to like it. But obviously the managers aren't the ones that's actually got a part with the money to do it, or it's not their decision. So, you know, that was on the Tuesday. And on the Wednesday, I've got 3 appointments to go back to. One was there, and he said, oh, the manager's, he's going to go and get him, and he's always not interested. So I thought, oh, great. And then one was closed. Well, it wasn't actually closed, but because it was so sunny, they'd got and so hot, they'd got the shutters down halfway to stop the sun, because they were just working in the background because they don't open until 4 p.m. and then they're open until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But I didn't actually realise they were there. And the other one, she did say that they'd got a big delivery and they would likely be closed, and they was. So it wasn't that brilliant. And then we went back again on, I think, did we go again on Thursday or not? I think we went straight in on Friday, didn't we? Yeah, we didn't go again on the Thursday. We was busy doing other things. We went again on the Friday, and the one that we got signed up, he was the first or second one I'd actually been to originally, and I spoke to the manager in the shop, and he gave me the owner's name and everything. And when I walked in, the owner was actually there, and the place was completely empty because, again, they weren't quite open, which was really good. And he was really open, and just sat down with him and just went through it all. And because by this time,
Karen, before you carry on, when you say you went through it all, what did you go through? What did you do when you walked into, obviously, to that guy, so people know what you did? Because that's the bit they probably wanted to know, is how did you get the appointment to get started?
I'll just go and grab something. Excuse me. You know the leaflets that aren't quite ready yet?
The booklet?
The booklet, yeah. Well, all I did was just printed them off and then just laminated them, a copy each. And I found, after going through it a few times, that this one worked really well. And I just went straight into the comparison. Yeah, and Steve did exactly the same.
So you forgot about the other page and just went to that page?
I went to that one, yeah. And then he was sort of went a bit quiet and was sort of looking at it, and I just gave him this one then to have a read through.
Right, which are the questions, yeah.
The FAQ, yeah, and he started reading. He probably didn't get to the bottom, and then he was asking a few questions, and he didn't like the fact that, because Just Eat do the clawback one at the same price. They don't add on any extra. So he wasn't happy about that at all. And okay, I'll do it differently next time, because obviously we want people to just do the 295.
So did you tell him about the 495 then? Did they know?
Only when he asked, because he said Just Eat do that, and I said, well, so do we. So do we. Right. But and then I showed it on here, because it does actually go through it. So I showed him it on there, and he wasn't very happy about the fact that it's more. But and then he did ask me how many I've got signed up, and I did say 3, and I haven't yet. But as I said before, I'm pretty sure we'll get at least that, if not more, in that high street. And we've only done probably only half the high street. There's a lot more down the other end that we haven't even been to yet. So yeah, we're pretty sure we've got quite a few. We'll probably get, I reckon, at least half a dozen soon, don't you, Steve? Yeah, I do. Out of the ones that we've been to, But it's obviously going to take a little bit of time. you know, seeing them and going through it and giving them the time as well to sort of chew it over and stuff like that, I suppose. You know, everyone's got to do it in their own time, haven't they, you know, and
yeah, I think it's also relationship building, which is what we talked about last week. They won't just buy off you the first time, because like, how many people have been in that shop selling something else, the similar ilk, which is, we are different.
yeah,
We are in the same industry, so they've heard it all before. So it's for us to go back and keep showing them that we are different, and it is for their benefit and not for, obviously it is our benefit, but we are giving them something back as well, which all the other things don't do.
Yeah, I did speak to Leslie after, because she had a good feedback, didn't she, the other day, and I spoke to her and she said that he'd actually said that, should I say this now, or should I leave?
Yeah, no, Leslie's not on the call, so you can, but don't mention any names of restaurants.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you can carry on.
He just said that he was in this and he was in that. I think it was this, if I remember it correctly, and he wasn't really looking for another one. And she said, "Oh, that's a shame, because this is the only one that gives rewards." And I thought, I really like that. So, you know, I've put that in my memory bank, and I've used it. You know, I've used that as a saying, you know, we are the only one that give rewards back. And
I think she got a positive result from that then. Well, a more positive response, because he said, "Oh, well, I'll have a look at it more." So she's going to go back.
Yeah.
So it's not a dead duck. It's she's reignited that, because she's given them like a bit of, like you said, what our benefit, what our USP is really.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So how do you feel after that then? So you got your first one.
Fantastic. I mean, it would have been nice to have the 295, but I've just got one under my belt, so I just feel really happy about that. And then we've got this meeting tomorrow with with the takeaway, and it's with the area manager as well. So
this is not just any old shop; it's a proper big high street retail outlet of takeaways. And Karen's speaking to the area manager and the local manager. So it just happened that she walked in the shop on the same day, or was it the same day? Or have they spoken to them the day before?
I'm not sure. They just said they just had a conference call with Just Eat. So, you know, just right place, right time, really. So, yeah. Oh, Aki's just said you have to make it clear that the price is $495 plus VAT up front.
Or clawback, we are doing a special launch for a period of, we've said that for this 295, I understand that. Yeah, so I mean, so that's that, and then obviously you've got who's the other thing you've got as well? You've got another one as well to talk to. Yes,
they were really going to be busy over the weekend, so I think we're going to have a meeting set up for Wednesday or Thursday this week in Coventry, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Brilliant.
She was going to set that up, so I'll give her a call. I'll pop in tomorrow. I said I'll be in on Tuesday, so I'll pop in and see her again tomorrow, and hopefully she'll have organised something for Wednesday or Thursday. I said those are the 2 days. One of those two I could go over there, see. So
that's fantastic, Karen. So has anybody got any questions for Karen based on her, obviously, what she's gone through this last week? Anybody got any questions that they'd like to elaborate on, maybe? Anybody? No? Take that as being a no if they've not said anything. No questions. Okay, so Edward, do you want to just tell us a bit about what your direct sales experience is then, so we can just see if that, what Karen said, is that typical what you would expect when you've done your direct sales? You're on mute at the moment.
Sorry, I got a peanut stuck in my throat a bit earlier. Yeah, that's very typical. It's always a question of building relationships. When I've always gone cold into a business, it's always just to make the appointment. It's nothing more, you know, when at time that's convenient to them, and that's the way to do it. You know, don't expect to go in there one call, one close on something like this, because it won't happen. You've got to get one or two underneath your belt, and then from there you can, you know, they all know each other, they all talk to each other. And once you can start relating to another business that's come on board with it, or you don't have to name the business, but you can say, you know, there's a couple on this street that have already gone for it, and you know, just give me 20 minutes of your time and I can get more customers, you know, over your threshold. Is that something that interests you? Well, they always want more customers anyway to get, you know, beat the competition and get more customers through the door. And that's the number one USP, isn't it? People want more.
Exactly. I think obviously because of the way that I mean, at the moment we're in phase 1 and 2. 1 and 2 phases is getting the affiliates, which we've got 5,000 of those. We may never get to 5,000 affiliates because we might find that we've got enough in certain areas and we don't bother on them. They might want 10,000, but we're never going to have more than 5. So once we've got those in place, they're going to help you to create your takeaway outlet, but we can do them in conjunction with each other. They don't have to be done independently. So like you say, if we sign up, I can't imagine for 1 minute we'll sign up 56,000 restaurants, because that would mean everybody would come on board, and we don't expect that. If we do, it's fantastic. You know, so obviously we're going to have to just, you know, play it by ear, but at the end of the day, the sky's the limit. We have a unique proposition for them, which nobody else is doing as of yet. And I'm sure people try and copy us. There's no doubt about that. And that's why we need to be in there first. It's about first movers advantage, really. And we are the people we can class ourselves as the founder members, because we will be the pioneers of Eat2earn. And at the end of the day, when we move into another country, we'll be the first, those 5,000 people will be the first people who can promote it in that country before we open it up to everybody else. So you will always have the best chance, as you possibly ever will have, to get in front of a brand new business. And I suppose we can, I mean, I know we're probably bigging ourselves up here a bit, but at the end of the day, look what happened with Facebook when they started out in a garage. We've got an office. We've got more than Facebook had when they started out. We've got a better computer system than they had when they started out. Just Eat, they started out in somebody's garage in Scandinavia. You know, we're already set up much better than they were from day one. So, you know, we have a massive proposition. We just need to make people aware that we are there. And then once they understand it, and like you say, once they start talking to each other, you'll have people begging for you to join you. You won't need to go knocking on their door. They'll be knocking on yours. So it's about making sure that you are in your area, you are number one. So, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in overlapping areas here. Which area are you from, Edward?
I'm in the southwest.
Yeah, great. And where are you? I forgot. You down there somewhere? We're on mute. Everybody's on mute. Hold on, let's see if I can get him done.
No, I've unmuted myself. I'm in Bexley Heath in Kent, sort of down Dartford, really down southeast.
So are you near a tweet? Are you similar to area then, roughly?
No, southeast I am.
Oh, you're southeast, right? So I don't think at the moment we've got anybody overlapping in areas. So you want to make sure that if somebody in Birmingham, for example, Karen, or in Solihull, or wherever you are, you know, wherever you've pitched yourself at, you want to make sure that when they want to join, they're coming to you. They're not going, you know, they want to say, well, I want to speak to Karen because she's the one who signed up X, Y, and Z businesses. Or you want them in your downline. You know, they might not sign directly with you. But if your restaurant wants you to help get them or other people on board, then you're the one they'll bring in, and that's what you want. You don't want them just picking somebody randomly off the internet. You know, you want you to be number one. So that's what I'm saying. Those 500,000, we can make a name for ourselves in the areas that we live, and make sure that we are the go-to people if anybody wants to join it. So I don't think people realise just how special we are of a time that we've got really now at the moment. So I think it's a matter of, you know, getting out there and just trying to get those affiliates on board, because they're going to help you. You can't, I mean, like Karen said, it takes time to go knocking on everybody's door. But if they're in your downline, you don't need all those restaurants directly to you because they're in your downline anyway. So that's the key. So who was saying something then?
Me. One thing that did happen, I was in one restaurant that was actually closed, but I could see they were in there, and there was actually a lady and her daughter eating in the window, but it got closed on the door. Anyway, he let me in, and he went and got the manager from upstairs, who was on his break, which was really good of him to come down. I was talking him through it, and anyway, I left him with the information, and as I was walking out, this lady stopped me, and she because her daughter had she's about 14 or 15, her daughter. She'd got leukemia. She'd had to give up work. And she was looking, you know, for something else. So she was asking me questions about, you know, could she do it and all this, that and the other. And I said, yeah, you know. I said, fantastic. I said, and I did try and phone her last week, but she was actually at the hospital with her daughter. So this week I'll give her another follow-up call. But she was going through the information that I'd sent her, and she was looking quite keen and interested. So,
and that's probably a good thing as well. Make sure you go into the restaurant sometimes when it's busier, so that people can overhear what you're saying. Make sure you shout it out as well. Talk loud, as loud as you can, so they can hear what you're saying. Because, like you say, you don't know who's in there, who's looking for something. I can say in as well, Karen, the fact that you've actually got an affiliate, it'd be good that if you could promote it on your Facebook page that you just signed up your first customer, your first restaurant. And you might get people asking you, "Oh, what's all that about?" You know, so what you could say is you've just signed up a restaurant, which will give you residual income for any customers that come through their door and buy takeaways for the rest of your life. Just say something like that as an attraction marketing post. That would help. And I suppose if everybody, you could, and everybody else could, I might even do that for you, Karen, as well. I'll just say one of my teams just got their first restaurant. So I'll do something like that, and then you can copy it or do something similar.
Yeah, all right, yeah, thank you.
But I think we need to I'm going to start doing some. I don't know about you guys. I know I mentioned about Facebook, and I've lost, not lost, but I can't find. Well, I've lost it, then haven't I? I can't find the tool that I wanted to share with you, so I'll find it for next week. It's something I got through a package, and I just can't think of what the URL is. So it's how to find people on Facebook who might be, you know, interested, because like it could be somebody who likes Eat2earn, Just Eat, who's a networker. That's probably that kind of person would be somebody you might be interested in, or somebody who's in direct sales. Good question for you, Edward. What kind of organisation would you be part of if you want? Would it be like the DSA? If you was a direct sale, would it be part of the distant? Because DSA is Direct Sales Association, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch DSA with a barge pole, to be honest.
So if it was somebody if you were looking for somebody who you wanted to join your business, would you be looking for somebody with direct sales experience or not?
Yes, I would do, yeah.
So how would you, is there an organisation you could search on? If you was looking, say you were searching in your town and you went to the library and you had to pick somebody, and you knew that if they were a direct salesperson, they would have that, they would be registered somewhere. What name would you use? How could I find that person?
Direct sales people, they have their own networks anyway. It's a very small world.
So give us an example, because I'm going to use it as an example next week on the training. So have you got some example? Well, we can talk offline if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll get some examples of how you would find people, then I'll show you next week how I would do it personally, and how I'm going to do it, because I will be doing the same thing. And I'll give you some examples, because we can all, we don't all want to pick the same person, but we can all be using similar search words, and because you're in different areas, we're all looking for different things in different places. So that'll be good. Okay, so I've got a few, because it's 7:30 now, I've got a few things, and then we'll come back to any questions. So we've got a video. I'm going to show you the first minute of the video, because the second minute of it is not that relevant to what we need. But just give me a minute, let me just set it up. So I'm just going to share this video with you, just so I can show you that we are doing stuff on your behalf. Hold on, wrong thing. So this is the video. Can you hear the noise, or can you just see the pictures? Can you hear anything?
Yeah, you can hear it.
So this is our building, this is our office in Sunderland, where Aki lives. And you can see we're on the board with other people in the office. This is reception, it's quite a big building. It's just one of the security guards. This is just one of the meeting rooms that they have in there as well. And then obviously, our office is up these stairs here on the left. We go left. And I think really, obviously it's just showing you that we are on this board with lots of other people. And I don't think there's much more relevant stuff here until the end. So we're gonna obviously edit this video. Hold on, let's go back a minute. So this is walking up the stairs, turn left, and you go into our office. On the left here, I'm sorry, on the right. This is Eat2earn. This is our symbol, Scooter Man. And then obviously what's going to come after this, so this is showing our certificates and that for Eat2earn. And what's going to come after that is then we're going to do the, I'm just going to come back to y'all. What we're going to do then is we're going to have the, like the interview with the guys in the office, so you can see how big the office is, how many people are in, and then the guys who you would generally speak to, like Jordan, and like Scott and Aki and other people as well. So it's just going to give you, so you can see it's a real business, so we've got a real office, and we're not just working out of somebody's garage. We are in a building. We've got it. We've had it for a while. So that's one thing we're in the middle of doing. Another thing Karen asked for, because you sometimes go to the restaurants and you find that they're asking for information, then you give them the information, and they're like, oh, I'm not really sure, and you just need something to help you close the deal. So what Aki's going to be doing, they're getting a professionally done video, which is Aki speaking to the camera, so he's talking to that restaurant, whatever restaurant that may be. He will talk about, he's in that business, he's set up the company, he's done it for a reason because he's in the industry, he knows the pitfalls, he knows they're being squeezed, and this is going to be the way around it to help them, whether they sell their shop or whether they go on holiday or whatever they do, they can still make money with Eat2earn. So that's what is, and that's going to hopefully help to take them over that threshold about getting started. So that's being done. It's not exactly done yet, but we will be sharing it obviously with everybody. It will be part of the marketing material that you can use. So it'll be a video on the channel. I'll put it on in the sales funnels that we're building. So it'll all be there for you to use as part of the tools, and so you'll have everything you need. And then obviously Aki's always there if you need somebody to help you to speak to people, because like tomorrow Karen's got this really important meeting with this chain of restaurants or takeaways, and Aki's going to be on a Zoom call as though he's in that room with them, even though he's not, and answer any questions that they've got. So he can do that for you as well. Obviously not if it's just a one-man band and it's just a one guy. It's not good use of his time. But if it's a big place like that, or if it's a really high net worth high street, I'm not saying he won't do anything, but obviously we want to make use of his time well. But for a chain of restaurants, or there's lots of franchise restaurants out there as well. Aki, can you give us some names of typical type of franchises? I don't know I don't know all of them, but there are some out there, like something. It's not like KFC, but KFC is like an example, if you know what I mean. That kind of thing. But there are others as well, which Aki knows. Aki, can you come on the call, or are you just going to type it? Well, there we go. So we've got Dixie, PFC. Have you heard of those? I've never heard of them. But I think it's in certain areas that they have different chains. And I know in my area, for example, that there is a chain of Indian restaurants where they have at least 4 or 5 in the northwest. So I could go to one near where I live, and he could sign up all the others. That's what you're looking for, is somebody like that, where you're doing one Southern fried chicken's another, where you go into one restaurant, but you end up getting like 10 in your downline on the back of one. So that's what you're looking for, is to make your, be smart with what you do rather than working hard, work smart. Chunky Chicken, Coleman's and Pepe's is some others. So I've never heard of any of them. So they must be either up in the north, or they're in places where we've got other restaurants, like in South Wales. We've got people in Stoke and that kind of thing. So look out for that kind of stuff as well. That's going to be a good use of your time, is you can pick up a couple of them. We have a meeting that Aki's trying to arrange. So this is a date for your diary. For now, it's not confirmed, but it is hoping to be the 21st of August, which is a Tuesday. And this is going to be our very first meeting for Eat2earn, where you can bring prospective restaurants and affiliates. It's not really a customer-driven thing yet at this stage. It's more for building the affiliates and building the takeaway. So obviously, you want to bring both. If you can bring affiliates, fine. If you want to bring some takeaways, fine. But at least make sure they've watched a webinar or a video, the 25-minute video, at least, so they understand, you know, what the business is all about before they come. But we'll do a presentation and we'll do obviously Q&A. But what we're also looking to do on that day, it's not been, obviously we're not arranged yet, so we don't know what it's going to look like. But we're going to be doing some kind of an incentive for the people, like the top performers. So we'll do a meal where you can meet, obviously come out with the owners of the company. We'll have a meal and something on that day. We don't know what yet. So it's obviously top performers. So it's incentive to get as many affiliates or takeaways in your downline as you can between now and the 21st of August. It's only giving you 3 weeks, but it's still 3 weeks. Oh, Eid will be around the 21st, Aki. Again, I thought you just had Ramadan. So I don't know about that, but there's some Eid celebration around there. So that's the day. Now, obviously, the question I've got, and obviously you need to come off mute to answer this question, but what time of day? Because we're suggesting that 7 o'clock at night, ideally. Oh, sorry, the meeting's going to be in Stoke-on-Trent. It's central to Manchester and Birmingham, which is where we've got, obviously, people, most of the affiliates are in those areas at the moment. And obviously South Wales, well, I don't think they're coming to the meeting because they've got their own network over there. So they've not confirmed the date, but they're going to work around Eid. So obviously it may not be the 21st, but so will it be sometime that week, Aki? Because we need to know the date roughly, ideally. It's going to be sometime that week. But the main thing is questions of time. So obviously, would 7 o'clock at night be a good time for a meeting, is the question. For people to come to?
Yeah, that works for us.
I'm just thinking in general, what do you think of 7 o'clock at night? Would that be a good time in general for everybody?
I think so. The restaurants, the only thing, it wouldn't really work for them, would it? Because they're likely to be open and working. That's the only thing, really.
Well, yeah, but Aki's got the same problem. What they've said is it's best to come on a weekday than it is a weekend, so they definitely wouldn't take time out for the weekend. But if it was something this important, they would take out a couple of hours of the time to come and at least meet Aki as well, because obviously they meet the CEO of the company, which is not very often they get to do. So we're just thinking, and what we probably might do is in the afternoon is have like, either we do the meal for the people who have the top performers in the afternoon, and we have the meeting in the evening, or we go after the meeting for the meal, which is going to be late. So that's why it's all right for Aki because they like eating late, but I don't like eating that late. So it's what we do, but we can talk about that nearer the time. It's just I'm trying to get a feel for what people, if you were that person and you were in the top performer, would you want to go out first, last, what?
Probably first.
First. Monday and Tuesdays are the quietest, so that would be the good time for them to go. So Monday or Tuesday anyway. So I think we'll work around that, but obviously next week we can let you know more about that. It's just an idea of what day, but we really need to, obviously if we're going to have that event, we don't just want 10 people turning up, we need to fill that room with people. So we need to all go out and plan, promote that event so that we get people coming. And what I'm going to do now, do everybody on this call know about the Facebook group?
Yes.
No, Edward, you don't know about the Facebook group, right? So we've got a Facebook group. Let me just I'll get a Facebook open. Right, so I'm just going to go to share my screen. Right, so Edward, what you would need to do is come over to Facebook and come up here in the search bar and just type in Eat2earn. What you're going to find two things. You're going to find a page and a group. So the page, you obviously want to go to the page and you want to click on the Eat2earn, and then what you want to do is come up here when it wakes up and click on like here, click on like. So obviously where am I saying likes? You would click like. And then then obviously you'll get notified of anything that comes on Eat2earn's page. And then the other thing you do is go back to the click on Eat2earn group. And then you'll have on here, you would have on the right hand side, it's not here because I've already joined it somewhere, it will say join the group. In fact, don't need to worry about that. I'm going to add you now. Just hold on. Edward. If we're friends. Oh, yeah, we are. There we go. Edward Windmere. Okay, so you're a member of that group now. So you'll just need to search for Eat2earn and it'll let you straight in. And what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks is adding content to this page. So this is effectively for affiliates to give you training material. And we're going to I'll do Facebook Lives in here for training and also put videos and you'll find in here, like if you look on, say, files, for example, you'll have links. These are going to change because at the moment it's taken to like a Google type of download area, asking me to give you permission, and then people are doing things in the back office. So I'm going to take you to a Dropbox and you download it from Dropbox. So that's going to change. You'll also have a link to go to the presentations, but there'll be other stuff as well, like the little marketing material will be in here as well, how to get to that. And you can just literally come in here, click on it, and then download it to your PC, and you can shove it on your iPad or whatever you're going to use, print it off, all that kind of stuff. So there'll be lots of stuff being put into this group. So this is more for affiliates than it is it's not for customers, it's more for affiliates, so they can get the training. And obviously we don't want just anybody coming here. We want people who know what the business is all about, so they've actually seen a presentation, and then you can, if they're interested but want to know more, then you can add them to the group. But it's only for people who understand the rules. Like, we're not a pitch fest. It's not about coming in here and start promoting other things. This is purely for Eat2earn business and also training. So just to make sure the people that you're bringing in, you're not just adding them without them knowing what it's all about. It's really important that we keep it, the integrity of the group. But we'll also add people. Obviously, we've congratulated Karen, so there'll be notes about people getting, if they've got sign-ups and that kind of stuff. We'll also put in here things about the incentives and top performers and all that kind of stuff will come in here. So this is going to be an area that you want to spend time in. And then obviously we'll have the WhatsApp group for people who are not on Facebook. You can obviously keep up to date in there. But this is, I would say, for affiliates, this is the most important page to get into and make sure you've got it. What you can do on here as well, Edward, if you come to your screen and if you click on more, so you come into the group area and click on the more button here and click on pin to shortcuts. And what that will do is on the left hand side, if you can look on here, like on the left hand side, you would then see, I'll just pin it, just show you what it looks like. Eventually it'll wake up. So you'll see Eat2earn there on the left hand side. And so if ever you needed, if there was any notifications, there would be, like it says there, 1 and 3 and 10, you see a number next to it, so you could just literally click on it. And you know that you've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is, notifications to look at. And just keep up to date. So this will be your kind of your Bible, really, eventually. So that's that. What else have we got?
Question, please.
Yeah, of course you can.
One there's a couple actually. One, is the booklet ready yet for ordering?
I do believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And 2, is the .biz business?
That's a good question. Let me just hold on. Let me just show you because it is, but I don't know if I like it. Let me have a look.
Yeah. Is this somewhere I believe that we can go direct? Presumably, we can just go direct to that site and order stationery from there.
Oh, right. The stationery one is. I don't think it's live till tomorrow. To be honest, where's that killed on?
Okay, that's fine. The other question is, can we use our points to purchase stationery?
I've asked that question of Aki this morning, earlier on, and he said at this stage no, because we haven't got the facility to.
Unstable here.
Sorry. Let me just stop this sharing because it might be the share. Is that better?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked Jackie earlier on, and he said at the moment it's not available for using as a points, through the shopping cart of the online ordering stationery ordering place. But in phase 2, when we redo the website, that will be added to that. So at the moment, no, unfortunately, we can't do that. You'd have to withdraw the cash and then pay it in cash. Is that all right? The other thing that I want to...
Sorry, I was muted. I'm muted to try and, what is phase 2 of the website, and when is that going to happen?
I don't know. I could have to come and answer that question. He's on the chat, so I'll wait and see what he comes back with. Aki, when are we looking to do phase 2? I don't think it's going to be straight away, to be honest. I wouldn't expect it to be within the next few months. So,
what is phase 2?
It's just where we're tweaking the website. So at the moment, obviously, the website's been developed to be functional. It's obviously that people are asking for additional things. Scott, hi, Scott. Scott? I think Scott's there, isn't answering. Scott, are you there? I was going to see if Scott would answer the question. Right, it just, Aki's saying that it's additional development. So people are, obviously, we've had the website developed in phase 1, which is to get to market, which is fully functional. We have tweaked it a bit with things like the back office. So you've now got, you can see your downline and the graphs and all the charts and everything like that. That wasn't part of phase 1. So we've had to mess about with that, obviously, quite a lot, which we didn't plan on doing. So obviously we have to scope the work for the next phase. We can't just go adding willy-nilly things, because obviously it's a lot of effort on the developers. So they need to know exactly what what our intentions is for phase 2. They can then scope it, and then they can give us a date, how long it's going to take. Well, what we've been asking them is just ad hoc stuff. So they don't like working under those they can't do that willy-nilly, because they've got their own work to do as well. So what we have to do is we have to literally, things like what's in phase 2 is the mobile app. So we'll have the app for the stores, for the takeaways, which is obviously a big piece of work. But I can say the development is shortly, so it will be this year, but I just can't say it's going to be the next month. So don't plan on that for buying stationery. You would have to withdraw the points and then pay for it, manually.
Okay, thank you.
But okay. The other thing as well, just to let you know, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, we are going to include, which you don't know about this, most of you, we will be including an incentive program. So this will include things like holiday incentives, car incentives. Also, it'll be additional points on your downline. So, but you do have to obviously achieve certain criteria to meet that. So we're not going to release that just yet, what that is. It's not hard. I don't think it's overly bad. But obviously when it comes to getting a free car, then obviously we're going to expect quite a bit of commitment and support. So, but it's worth having, because you're going to have access to BMW car type cars. So that's to become, we will release that as and when. But at the moment we're not at that point, because we need to, obviously, once we start getting the affiliates on board, we can then share the actual career progressions that we can do within the business. But there'll be about 3 or 4 different levels. We may include more as and when we go, especially when we open up into other countries, because people over here will have those people in their downline. So we will need additional levels at that point, I would imagine. But the levels we're going to introduce are purely based around the UK market for now. So that's something to look forward to as well. So what you're seeing in the 5 levels is fine, but there's going to be a lot more on top of that. If you are somebody who wants that, there is a career progression, and we are going to reward people, because we obviously know that you're going to be helping us build the business, and it's your business as much as it is ours. So we want, it's a team kind of collective thing. So I hope that sounds interesting as well. So does anybody else have any questions at the moment based? Oh, Karen, you went a bit quiet. I think Karen's gone to sleep. I think your connection's gone to sleep.
I just said it sounds fantastic. You know, look forward to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely release that. We may not be able to do that on the 21st of August because it's probably a little bit too soon, but it won't be long after that before we get it packaged up. And then we can release it to everybody because it's going to be good for everybody. You know, if everybody driving a car, because if you're all driving a car through Eat2earn, then it means that we're doing really well for everybody. So I'll be very pleased and chuffed for everybody if they can do that. So anybody got any questions then based on what you've heard tonight? Come on, don't be shy. Come on. You must have a question. Graham?
No, I've got no questions.
I'm really surprised you know. Oh my God, David's turned up. Come on, David, have you got a question? No. So how many people, so just to give us a show of hands, how many people have actually been to a restaurant yet or contemplated going to a restaurant yet? Apart from Karen. You have? Well done. 5 or 1? 1. Well, 1's better than none. 2, that's good. Well, that's good. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to start somewhere, like Karen did. Don't feel, just because you've got butterflies or you feel a bit sick, that's actual part of the course. It means that, you know, obviously you're going to be, your adrenaline's going to be pumping and you'll be able to go in there and do the right thing. But like Karen said, it wasn't hard to open up the conversation with them. So I think it's just a matter of, I think we've lost Karen. I think it's just a matter of going there. Now, one question I would ask maybe Edward. Edward, would you recommend ringing people first? Have you done that before?
No, definitely not. It's face-to-face is always by far the best.
Yeah, I think with some people were going to start doing ringing, but then it was like, I don't think, because obviously you can easily say, I don't want to, no, I'm not interested. So if you go straight into the shop, you're going to get that first impression, aren't you?
Yeah, it's as I said before, it's you're purely there to take a minute of the time. You've got a spare minute and make the appointment. That's your one and only goal.
Yeah, so you're not actually there to sell it on that day. You're not even there to go through it unless you say, well, I've got time now, are you? Really just going in to get the appointment. Absolutely, yeah. So you might want to maybe clear half a day and just go and hit as many shops as you can in that, you know, literally in and out of the different times. Now, I'm not sure, I couldn't tell you at this moment in time what is the best time. Karen, roughly when did you go? What time of day?
We went in the afternoon and we found it was quite a good time. On the times we were there a little bit later, they were starting to get busy. You know, if there was too many people in, they're not interested at all. You need to go when it's really quiet either. I mean, it depends where you are. I mean, some restaurants don't even open until 5:30, but on the high streets they're open all day. So I would. You know, we haven't been out in the morning yet, but we do plan to go sort of 10, 11 o'clock. And then, you know, forget 1 till 2 almost, and then sort of hit it again after that.
Well, there's no point going in the evening. So it's like, what, between 4 and 7 is the maximum, or is it earlier than that, would you say?
Yeah.
Even 4 or 5 o'clock was busy there.
Yeah, some places, yeah, the high street was busy at 4 or 5, but like the restaurants that I don't open until sort of 6, 7 o'clock, then, yeah. But they're sort of 5 o'clock, 5:30. But
yeah, so maybe, I mean, your first day might be just a matter of going up and down the high street, seeing what's there and, you know, what kind of shops. Because, I mean, you don't think about not going into anybody, really. Go into all of them. Chippies, I mean, Chippies, I didn't even know Chippies did takeaways, to be fair. I know you're going in to buy it, you know, you're collecting it, but I didn't think they did takeaways. But that is a big business. And they also do deliveries, which I've never even heard of as well. So
Uber do a delivery service now. So a lot of them are using the Uber Food. I'm not sure if it's called that, but something like Uber Food or something like that. And they actually come and
order and then bring it to you.
yeah, you order it and then they get it delivered by Uber.
What you need to try and do is be around when there's Uber drivers coming in and go and nab them in the street and just say, oh, you know, can you give out some of these cards? You want to become an affiliate so that they can be an affiliate of the business. You know, and I mean, that also taxi drivers are a good one as well for giving out those kind of cards that you've got, Karen. The good time if you know a friend or anybody who's a taxi driver, give them a batch of those, or tell them about the business, and maybe they'll join as an affiliate and then do the same thing as you've done, because they're in the right business. So Uber drivers, taxi drivers, that kind of stuff. But like you say, you can get hold of the Ubers. Wayne's saying, or Emma's saying, I'm not sure which one's on tonight, McDonald's are doing a delivery service in Brighton now, so, you know, even McDonald's you could go into.
Yeah, McDonald's local to here, actually, we found out the other day, does as well. But only at certain times of the day.
Right. It's a bit like ours. I mean, our guys can do deliveries as and when, so they can turn it on and off, you know, that kind of thing. Danny, have you got a volume?
Yeah, I've just pulled over at a service station just to grab a quick coffee.
All right, okay.
Just picking up what you just said now. I've just been in there, just talking to this guy there, and it's one of the attendants. Just grabbed a coffee off him, and I just asked him where he's from. He's from Nottingham, and I've just got his number because I just asked him what he's up to, and he goes, "I'm not making enough money working here." I said, "Well, I'm not saying I can, but I might have something to help you, and it'll help your friends with the takeaway."
Wow.
And he just said to me, he's got 10 of his family members that have got takeaways. So I've just grabbed his number and the coffee, and later on.
So that's another way of doing it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say go and spend a lot of time in the services, but if you're somebody who drives a lot for your job, then it's something you can do. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh, well done, Danny. That's good. And obviously, you've got in your family as well. Do you want to just tell people what your family have got? Because you've got restaurants, haven't you?
Yeah, my family have been involved. It's in the DNA for them. They started one of the first Indian restaurants off in Manchester, going back to the 50s and 60s. So they've been involved in that with the people like Tony, you know, the great Tony Wilson and Bob Smithers and everyone else who are all regulars in that place. So, you know, they built up a business for a long, long time. One of the things that one of the brothers refuses to do is pay Just Eat any money. And so I'm going to speak to him. I'm speaking to him next week. They're on holiday this week. They come back from Tunisia. I think it's on Thursday. So I'm going to catch up with him, and that's something that I'll be doing. They've got 3 other places, so what they can do is one can recommend the other one can recommend the other, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's something. I mean, I speak to Aki quite a lot, and it's you know, it's something that's happening a lot. And when you talk to people, they're just not making enough money because Just Eat's taking all the pennies off them. And that's the only way. There was a guy I was talking to the other day in a place in Salford, and he said he's in a catch-22 situation because he needs Just Eat to get the orders through, but every time he gets the orders through, he's losing money from it. So that's another person we're going to be speaking to when he comes back off his holidays as well.
So you just need to find people like Danny. I mean, obviously, we've known Danny for, I don't know, 10 years, probably more than that, haven't we now? But I didn't know you had restaurants in your family until Just Eat, obviously. So it's surprising that what you don't know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the other thing, Sharon, if we get any challenges with people that have, people trying to close the deal, if they've got any challenges, I honestly don't mind, get my number. I've been involved in direct sales for over 30 years, so, any kind of objections that people have got, most of the time, I always put it down to 3 kind of things. It's down to the 3 Ps, the people, the price, of the product. We've got a great product. We've got great people that are involved with us. And the price, of course, you're saving yourself so much money compared to Just Eat, so why shouldn't you give us this a try?
Exactly. And even the price, I mean, people, they talk about, the price, but I mean, pay more for Just Eat. But I mean, obviously, the Just Eat may not charge the clawback that you're on about, Karen, but they're a big organisation. They're to start out somewhere, and that they wouldn't have been offering them for free at the beginning. So people have to understand that, you know, it's like any new business. There is always going to be different things that we're offering to our competitors, but what we have got what nobody else has got, which is our USP, and that is the rewards that we give back to everybody, both the takeaway and also the customer. So, you know, I think it's a matter of just got to keep going. And now, Emma did ask me a question, Karen, and I didn't ask you yet. She just asked, what was your sales pitch when you walked in to the how did you get started? What did you say?
To me.
Well, Karen, just hold on. Karen's going to say it, and if you just tell us what you would do, but Karen's going to tell us what she did to get the takeaway. Then if you just give us an idea of what you would say, but just hold on. Karen, are you there?
Yeah, I was just trying to think.
It's not easy because you just probably just went in there because you was nervous. You just said what you said, didn't you, I suppose?
Yeah, I did, but also I found as a get the subject going was, are they in Just Eat? Because I found that only a handful have actually got the sign outside, and if they did, I said, I see you're in Just Eat, da 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 da. We've got something that's very similar, but I think it's better because you get rewards, etc. And same for the ones that, you know, are you in Just Eat? And if yes, you know, or if no, then okay, have you considered it? Yes, we are, and many of them were actually looking right now to join Just Eat. The ones that weren't, I would say probably 90% were looking at it as a possibility.
Right.
Because I've just said we've got something better. I did say I'm not saying don't join Just Eat. You know, not trying to sort of, but I did say, look, you know, this is what we can do. Sort of thing.
Well, there's room for everybody as well. I mean, like, you know, Just Eat's not going to go away because it's always going to be there. But there's also our proposition that runs alongside it. I'm not sure because I think you said some of them had contracts with Just Eat. Danny might know more about that though, because I'm not sure whether they can have two like Just Eat and doors at the same time. Danny, do you know the answer to that question?
I'd imagine you should be able to, because a lot of the Just Eat customers have got Big Foodie, Chef Online, and they've also had Hungry House, which has been taken over by Just Eat. So I'd imagine, you know, that there wouldn't be anything there to stop anyone from doing that. Most of these places, takeaways, have got signs outside that have got 2-3 different other people out there. So I'd imagine there won't be anything. I can probably get that checked. I'll speak to Johnny. Johnny has Just Eat, so I'll speak to Johnny and find out whether there's anything.
Aki's online. Aki should be able to answer that question. I think he said some of them don't have to sign contracts and others do. So I suppose it depends on what they've agreed with with Just Eat at the end of the day. But I think it's like you say, Karen, it's not something. What we don't want anybody doing, and please don't do this, is we don't want people going slagging off Just Eat.
No.
At the end of the day, we want to be. They might slag us off. But we don't want to slag. We want to be above them. We want to play. We want to sell our business in the right way, and that is professional. We are offering a higher level of service to them. Based on the fact we're going to give a lot of our profits away, but we don't want to do that with. On the detriment of them, giving us bad press. We don't need that. We don't want to do it to them. They don't need to do it to us. So I think if we all just play, like you say, we're not after taking their business off them. We're not after trying to shut them down. There's room in the market for everybody. So at the end of the day, we're just there to give them give people choices at the end of the day. And if they want to make the choice, they might choose not to for whatever reason. I can say takeaways can have as many providers as they want. However, they do have to run the course of any contract they have with the previous provider, so they can't just stop using them. I don't know what the penalties are because I'm not sure if there's a minimum order that you have to do a week to keep effectively active. But I suppose you can't just walk away and turn off their equipment and stuff like that. So if anybody does place an order through Eat, you'd have to fulfil the the order. But if you didn't want to put the sticker in the window, I suppose you could take that down maybe. But we'll clarify that. Obviously, at the meetings that we do have, we can obviously go over any kind of questions that need more thought from somebody who's got all the knowledge. And like I said, Danny will be there. So that's good. Have you got any questions? What would you, Danny, what would you do if you was somebody going into a restaurant now? How would you approach it?
Well, one of the things about any customer, none of the customers like being sold to. And I think Just Eat come across when they come in and pitch you, they're coming across and they really, really want to get the sale. So if we kind of went in with, sales with service, that'd be a better thing to do. So I, for one, if I was going to approach somebody, and I've done it before with, when we were involved with telecoms, when I worked with Neil, I'd always go in and say, I've just started up a new franchise, a new business, and I'd just like a little bit of help. It's a similar concept to what you've already got over here. However, it's got a twist to it in the fact that you don't actually, pay anything, and there's reward at the end of it instead of you having to pay out of your pocket. And just ask them, ask them generally what the feedback like with the service that they've had. Most people will be honest and just turn around and say that they're paying too much money to them. So that's when our USP comes in. So if we empathise with the customer, we listen to what the customer is saying, and we offer them a solution, most of the time I find, you'll win the business. You definitely will win the business.
Yeah, right. So rather than pitching it, you're just asking them for like how are they finding it themselves?
Yeah, it's just like an informed survey. When you're asking somebody, how everything else has been. And that way you'll get a candid response from most customers. Most customers will come back and say to you that, they're sick and tired of paying X, Y, Z to them. And as soon as they see that they're not going to be paying this and there's a reward attached to the end of it, and if they want to recommend, of course, you've got another reward there. So most people will see sense and, they'll come on board with it. I've never done anything that I've gone and done. I've never been pushy with anybody at all, and it seems to work for us.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I'm like Karen. We are not salespeople, but we can sell. We don't sell the benefits. We sell, it's all about giving value. So if you can give as much value to that restaurant without really expecting anything in return, so you can just sell it, there are other things out there. Have you not tried looking at X, Y, Z? There are things out there, but we have got our own USP, which is we give 50% of our profits back to our, from the fees that we take from the restaurant, back to the retailers and back to the customers, which there is nobody else out there in the world that we know of who are doing that. And we've done it because our CEO has been in the industry for so long that he's seen how you are all struggling. So if you can show that you've got empathy there as well, and that you've got some kind of knowledge of the insider information, then they're going to say, well, they've done their homework, they know the industry, they know what they're talking about. Why shouldn't we give them a chance? Because you're not trying to pitch them, you're trying to just help them, there is a difference. So I think if we use that approach more than trying to sell, and I know we're not all salespeople, so we're not going to do that because we're not hard sell. And I think at one point we did talk about maybe bringing on direct salespeople to go and help sell the business on your behalf, but I really don't know whether that would actually work, because they don't have the company's best interest at heart. All they're after is a sale, because they're just going to be on commission only. I think that would probably not be in the best light for the business. I think really we do want people like us who understand the business, who know what we're trying to do, and they're happy and they get behind it, because I think you have to feel it inside to know that you can sell it. You've got to like the ethos of the business first, and then it'll be easy for you to actually show it to other people as well. So that was it for today, I think. So unless there's anything else, guys, has anybody else got any questions or anything that you want us to cover before we call that a day? Because then obviously we'll pick it up next week. Danny, you weren't on the call. We are thinking of having a meeting in the Stoke-on-Trent area around about the 21st. That's sometime around that week, maybe the Monday or Tuesday.
No. I've been on the call. I've been driving up the M1. I've been fine. I've been listening to everything you've been saying.
All right, okay.
Stoke will be good. 7 o'clock. Yeah. Because what you got to be mindful of the fact is that junction 15's a nightmare. I was on there just earlier on, and I was sat there for over an hour, and this is at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's a nightmare. So around about that time itself, it should be fine. So 7 o'clock, you'd be spot on that, Sharon.
Right, brilliant. So, I mean, we can obviously we will be there in the afternoon if anybody has because there's sometimes some restaurants say I can't be there at 7, but I can get there at 3. Then we will have, we'll be there mid-afternoon, so we can sit and have private meetings with people if they need to get off. But ideally, we don't want to do loads of individual meetings. We want to push the 7 o'clock meeting, because the more people get in the room, it looks like, we've got a lot of people. Just hold on, who's trying to ring me? It looks like we've got people, we've got people interested. So restaurants, affiliates, not customers really, unless they're customers who've got a thought that they may want to be affiliate, then that might be okay. But we don't want to flood the room with customers at this stage. That is not for that meeting really. Okay, so anybody, David, have you got any questions? No? You still no? Nope. Okay, so if there is no more questions, then we can, obviously we can leave it at that for this week. So we obviously will be back again next week. I will look into this thing about the Facebook. Like I said, I've got a tool. I just can't remember what it's called. I've been racking my brain, so I need to do a bit of digging, and it's going to take me a bit to find out what it is. So I will find that for next week. And if somebody's, I'm going to speak to the guy who was on before, who's going to talk about keywords. So I don't know if you've got any keywords, Danny, that you would look for. If you was looking for somebody, say on, I don't know, Facebook or anywhere, that you wanted to look for somebody who's got direct sales experience, what would you do? How would you find them? Danny, you've gone offline. I think we've lost him. I'll pick it up with him. I'll find out, Karen. Don't worry, David. I'm going to do that for next week. So that'll be one of our trainings for next week. Is there anything else you want us to cover next week, or will you let me know during the course of the week, and I'll make sure I include that next week? Is that a yeah? Everybody's gone quiet. I think it's, hold on.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right, okay, cool. I unmuted you, Karen. Oh, I can't unmute you, Karen. You've already, for some reason, you're locked. Right, okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that then. So if everybody's happy, we'll get this on YouTube, then you can obviously go through it again and just have a look at it. If you've got any questions, obviously Karen will let us know what happens with her chain of restaurants this week, so she can give us a bit of an update on Monday, next Monday, yeah, to let us know how she went on.
Fingers crossed.
Everybody keep your fingers crossed for Karen. Fingers crossed. And don't forget, Karen, in the morning, if you just have a quick chat with Aki to make sure he's available. Oh, and Aki says we need more affiliates, so come on, we need to do this. Obviously, the 21st, we're going to reward the best affiliate, so try and get in that meeting. You know what I'm like, I always go for goals. So pick a goal and go for it, so that you can make sure you get to events, make sure you try and get on the leaderboards. That's the key thing, I'm not a recognition person. I just like to achieve goals myself. So I think if you just get yourself out there, even if you've not done it yet, and just try and get those people on board like Karen's done. And Karen is not, like I said, she's not the salesperson by any means. I know, because I've held her hand a lot of times. But she's been willing to go out there with Steve, and they've done a good job. So well done, Karen. And obviously well done to everybody else who's in that process. So, like next week, you can share your results with us as well, and how you found it, and if it was really scary. And Karen, Aki's saying good luck for tomorrow, and he will be with you all the way. So Aki, she's going to ring it because it needs to be a Zoom call, because she wants you there with her, like, as though you sat in the room, even though you're not, but she just needs you there to hold her hand. And obviously we'll hear all about that next week, won't we, Karen? Okay, cool. So thank you very much, guys and girls, and I shall see you next week. Bye, girls. Bye. Bye.
Bye.